Well, there's a very interesting part of Jesus in New Vision, which is about the resurrection and about what is actually known about the Shroud of Turin. Now, I recently on my website, there's a significant social media section of it. Someone put up a thing saying, I don't believe that there was a resurrection because Jesus died on the cross and there was nothing that happened on the cross that was unusual in any way. He simply died. And I thought to myself, this is very clever.
He died early.
Well, he died early, yeah, but and it's possible. Of course, it's possible there was a twin, and it's also possible that he wasn't really dead when he was put into the tomb. But that's not what the story of the Shroud of Turin tells. The Shroud of Turin tells a very strange story, and no matter how hard the conventional scientific community has worked to debunk that story, it's still there. The mystery still exists. Back in, the 70s, Ann and I were introduced to two Air Force officers, Jackson and Jumper, who wanted to test the Shroud of Turin. It was Father Peter Rinaldi who introduced us to this project, and we contributed a little money to it. We would have contributed more, but we didn't have more. Mm-hmm. And so we were very involved in the Shroud of Turin project. And as soon as I heard that the testing was going to be done at Oxford, I knew it would be false. And I wrote, I believe, Father Rinaldi saying, do not do this. They cannot afford to have their paradigm destroyed, and they will tell lies, and not even intentionally. They will do it in all good faith, but they will still be false. And indeed, if you look carefully, you will find that the parts of the shroud that were taken were too close to the burn marks from the 15th century fire to give accurate carbon dating. They were going to give carbon dating later than the shroud actually it was. And so that carbon dating is not correct. And they will stand by it because they did it very carefully and very correctly, but they did it to the wrong area. And they may not even consciously be aware of that, but that's what happened. There has been extensive research done into the shroud since then. Mm-hmm. There's a wonderful book out called Test the Shroud, about the shroud and about the work that's been done so far and what needs to be done additionally. And it's quite convincing because I think there's truth to it. Among other things, the image is burned into just the absolutely top micro, just the top edges of the linen in the cloth. Mm-hmm. And that could only happen with a very high intensity, very sudden flash, very high intensity, very sudden. Mm. There was, remember, an earthquake, and the temple was the drape in the temple was torn. Probably something happened in the tomb at that moment. Mm. And this is where we get into the area that the Western mind does not want to accept yet. And it's not just this. It's a whole lot more, that there is a large part of human experience and human reality that we have turned off. We have put blinders on ourselves. We've gone blind to our own souls. We don't believe we have them even, but they are the only thing that matters. And believe me, the visitors know that. If you're around them very much, they're real interested in your soul. And some of them want your soul to be screwed up because then they can get it when you're dead and they can do what they want with you. And God knows what that is, but it's certainly not going to be good news.
So these visitors, they don't have good intentions necessarily.
They have
selfish intentions, would you say?
You have to look at them the same way we look at ourselves. And when we look at ourselves, we see a huge, complicated mass of different beliefs, different intentions, different desires, different levels of intelligence, all of that. They're the same. they are just as complex, if not more so, and probably more so because they are older and they do have abilities that we do not have anymore, although I think we did in the past, as Jeff Kripal talked about on this show, actually, and about the ability to fly and so the levitate and so forth. We've turned all that off. We turned it off for a very good reason. 1,000-year oppressive religious dictatorship that was stifling knowledge.
Christianity.
When on the nature of things, Lucretius's poem was rediscovered in Germany in the 14th century and was reprinted all over Europe. Suddenly, the idea of a scientific method was rekindled in the mind of the people of the Renaissance, and this is where people like Galileo and Copernicus were coming from. And Giordano Bruno, they were trying to become scientists in a world that would definitely burn you to death if you weren't careful, which happened to Bruno. And we shook that off of ourselves, off of our backs, and now any sign of any interest in that level of human reality terrifies our intellectuals because they think, my God, if we let this out, the next thing we know, religious fundamentalists are going to be back in control and we're all going to be burned again. Our lives will be destroyed. And if you look at Project 25, you can see it written right there.
Project 25, is that thing that
that's that thing that's sort of in the
that like extreme right-wing agenda thing that came out?
Yeah, whether it's would ever be adopted by anyone, I don't know, but it's there.
No, I don't think, I saw that.
And I've read, it's 900 pages long, and I have to admit that I read an outline of it, and I paged through it. And basically it's a return to the medieval world.
Yes, I agree.
Basically, it's what it is.
Yeah, I tend to think when things like that come out that they're just like intentional things to divide society and to create and maintain control and things to.
Well,
I've heard some of the people come out like Trump and some other people, right-wing people, that people have been questioning them about this Project 2025 thing, and they're completely like ripping it to shreds, saying like, I don't know where this is coming from. This is like an extreme right-wing thing, like.
Yeah,
we don't,
unless it's actually created by the extreme left wing in order to make the right wing look bad.
Exactly, right.
I mean, it could be anything.
There's so much deception going on. You can't keep anything straight.
I'm not in that world, and I'm not going to go into politics of Trump and Harris now. But I'm just saying that exists.
Yes,
and it is a return to what we were before the Renaissance.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
And
I don't think.
We're not.
I don't think real people take that kind of stuff seriously.
We're not going to go there.
No, definitely not.
They have to face the fact that we're free now, and ultimately we're going to stay that way.
Yes.